Hey everyone, I am Soumi Bardhan. I was the lead at DSC IIIT Kalyani for 2020 to 2021, and we have Akshita Dixit with us, who was the lead for 2021 to 2022. And as our GDSC has been there for 2 years, that is 2020 to 22, we thought that it will be nice if we could discuss about how we got to know about this opportunity and like how we got to know about that GDSC clubs exist, the selection process, how we got started in the first year of the club and how we learned from our mistakes and improved in the second year. And we'll also talk about winter of code, how we got with the idea in the beginning and what we improved in its second iteration. And we'll also talk about how we grew our YouTube channel and presence and how it helped us. The first thing is, how did we get to know about this? For me, in my first year, I was absolutely um, oblivious of all of the opportunities that existed. So, almost at the end of my second year, I attended an event. It was an offline event by GDG Kolkata. It was called Kolkata Create. And also, it was being organized by GDSC Netaji Subhash Institute of Technology, I think. Netaji Subhash Engineering College, yes. So that it was also being organized by that. So we saw the lead and more of the people who were part of DSC Heritage Institute of Technology, which is in Kolkata. So from there, I came to know about DSC and that it existed, and came to know about the different programs and meetups that they organized on different topics, which could be technical, and some of them were also about startups and entrepreneurship and all of that. So that was my first introduction to DSC. And my friend Shovik, he told me in around March about the applications that they had opened, and he was the one who encouraged me to apply. Over to you, Akshita.
Yeah, and as far as I am concerned, I think the same. Like in my first year, even I was oblivious, and whatever I know of DSC or GDSC as we know of it now, I know from you. So yeah, I saw her becoming the lead, and I was like curious. Okay, there's something called DSC in our college now, and it looks exciting. And I did not even apply for the core team initially, but obviously, Soumi ma'am encouraged me a lot, and she was the one to actually encourage me to apply for the lead when I wasn't very sure. Am I eligible for it? And that's how I became a lead. Yes.
Okay, so that was amazing. And coming to the selection process, I initially applied with some basic questions about my own self, like a small introduction and what are the projects and technologies that I had worked on, and also a 1 minute introduction video talking about my achievements and like what I was doing currently, what projects am I working on, what frameworks I like using, why I really like using them, and all of that. So that was the first one, and based on that, they shortlisted, I think, three or two of us from our campus for an interview. And the ones that I know, there was me and Shovik, and I think one more person. So we gave the interviews. In the interviews, mostly they asked about my projects itself and what technologies I was using and what I like to do, how will I get started with a technology club on my campus, how will I get people interested in learning new technologies, and what would my approach be on that, how would I decide on people for my core team, and all of that. So those were the questions that I was asked. And after that, around August, I received my selection mail, and then we got started with building. Yeah. Akshita.
Yeah, and I had a similar experience. So we had this form again, and there were two essay questions that I had to write out. One concerned about my interest, my hobbies, my passion in the field of technology, and the other was related to my contribution to the community and my future vision towards the community. So I answered both of them, and then again there was this video submission required, 1 minute video of what my previous roles in the community were and what will I do if I become a lead. So these were things that were asked to me, and I do not know of anyone else who was shortlisted, mainly because I did not ask anyone around. So I got the mail that I was selected for the interview round, and I legit just was very confused about what they asked in interviews. And again, Soumi ma'am helped me out there as well. So I sat there, and the interview was really nice. He did not, force you to open your camera or something. It was just like, you have to let me know that what is your experience working with DSC? Did you have a DSC before? If yes, what did you do there? Then what are the sort of projects that you worked upon? Do you have some technical capabilities or not? And in future, how are you going to again run this club? How are you going to bring people even if they are not interested? Or how much do you know about some Google technologies like cloud, Kotlin, etc.? And yeah, about some previous activities in the club, since I told them that we had the club. And this conversation went on about for 30 minutes. I kept on speaking throughout, and the interviewer probably got tired of me speaking. So yeah, and then finally got the selection mail that I was the GDSC Lead now, and that is it.
Cool, cool. That's nice. So 2020 was the first year that DSC Triple IT Kalyani was, working, and initially there were a few challenges I had to face, or a few things, because we didn't have a club already in place before, so we had to do everything from scratch. So it was very important to have a really nice team whom I could depend on, because they would also be an integral part of building the DSC community from scratch in our college. I decided that we should give equal opportunity to all of them. So I also saw a few other leads doing it for their clubs as well, as they were doing it for the first time. They went out with certain forms with specific questions about what is your experience, what kind of projects have you done, how are you planning to communicate with us, how frequently do you want to communicate, how much time will you be able to give to DSC, um, and all of that, and what is your vision for this community, these questions. So based on this, I shortlisted a few, and the ones that I already knew, I took them. And for a few juniors whom I didn't know that well, I took a few interviews for them, and then went ahead with the selections. So in the core team, there was one technical sub team, and then there was another management part. And in the technical team, we had people for mobile development, then we had people for VR, machine learning, web development. So people were there from all the domains to help out. And initially, I think in first year, we started with a Flutter workshop. Oh, yeah, we started with the Flutter workshop, and then there was the 30 days of Google Cloud program, where a Google
Hmm.
Cloud facilitator was chosen, and he was, teaching everyone. And we had like 3 to 4 sessions in those 30 days, where I think 20 people completed all the tracks and got a few batches and all of that. And after that, we had a few GitHub sessions around October, I think, which
Right.
is for the open source thing, which is
For the
Oktoberfest,
happiness.
yeah, Hacktoberfest, yeah, that one. So for that, we had those Git and GitHub sessions so that people could get started with creating pull requests. And from December, we went on to Winter of Code. Yeah, Akshita.
Now, I was fortunate enough to have, something already left behind by my previous lead. So I literally took her Google form that she used to select students, and I remolded it a bit to adjust to some new questions like more domains. I thought of including a blockchain technology, and I added a cloud lead as well because I knew that there will be this cloud challenge coming up because I had experienced it in the last cohort. So yeah, I introduced a few new fields, and I took interviews for all of the people because there were so many applications, around 50 applications for the core team came in. And then was that I decided that, okay, let's separate something, let's create something called the extended core team, and let's have a closely knit of people called the core team. The concept of extended core team was just to have in people who are interested to be a part of this, closely knit community, but aren't exactly what I'm looking for. However, if they are given the exposure, they could be molded into maybe future leaders. So, and the core team was obviously comprised of people with expertise and people who already knew a lot of stuff because those were the ones who were going to mentor and take things ahead. So I asked the previously selected core team members, Soumi ma'am, Nimish sir, Naman sir, Ritik sir, Sovik sir, to come and interview the core team because I did not find myself eligible enough to interview somebody who's just my age, who's in my batch. And that is how we proceeded. So we selected around 8 members, 8 or 10 members for the core team, and we moved on to select around similar quantity, I think 10 members for the extended core team. And unfortunately, there was no girl applicant. So, anyways,
Oh, there wasn't?
no, that was quite sad
Okay.
because I did think of having this position called Women Tech Lead, but then nobody applied, so just of no use.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, we started off with the onboarding activities about again introducing the new GDSC community, and I decided not to spend a lot of time on introducing the club because people would be put out there. Obviously, people will know who has been selected, and we straight away jumped into preparing for Winter of Code 2.0, and like
Okay.
this happened in September. So we started off in September only that we have exactly say 3 months left to prepare for WOC. We thought of having it in November because December is occupied by the the bigger, larger open source winter programs, say Girl Script or this TSC NSEC Winter of Code and similar stuff like that. So we thought if we keep WOC over there, our audience might get deviated and will not receive the same traction. We thought
Yeah.
let's have it early.
Right, you did the right thing because when I was looking at Winter of Code, like thinking of starting something like this,
Hmm.
I came across that there were so many already existing open source programs that people could contribute to. But my point of view was like that if our open source organization like can benefit at least one person because there's
Hmm.
these events have a lot of participation because these are very well known, and it could be that a lot of people don't get into those events or don't get selected for it, and they might get disheartened or something like that. But we wanted mostly our students to know that these kind of events exist, and we wanted to start something from our college itself. Again, people from different colleges could all again apply, but Winter of Code, we just decided and went forward with it. Of course, we were a bit late in deciding the idea. That's why we like our timelines were pushed back in the beginning. But this time it is doing a lot better. I can see the timelines have improved and all of that. Yeah.
Yeah, so like, and alongside the entire WC preparation, I had a lot of other leads as friends. So I got all of them together, and I was like, let's all come together and do WOC. Now suddenly these Google program managers, they announced the cloud challenge. Now 30 days of Google Cloud is something which has been very popular since the past 2 or 3 years. Wasn't that much popular last year in our college because the DSC was the first of its kind. But this year people already knew that something is coming up and it gives a lot of swags, and obviously it is Google, so why not?
Okay.
And that was another challenge of its kind because the form used to open every 10 minutes to allow, say, one or two students to register, and then it used to close. There was so
Okay.
much traffic on that single form to register for the cloud thing. But, anyways, we pulled it off. We had sessions, we had doubt solving sessions, and we pushed people to complete their tracks anyhow. Around 60 people this time completed either one or both of the tracks, and I think that's a huge improvement from last year. Also,
Yeah.
in terms
3x.
of the number of people who actually did this thing from our college itself. So 50 students were from our college and 10 were outsiders. So
Okay.
that's a huge number because at
Yeah.
least people knew about it this time. And
So when
yes,
was
that
this
was good
around?
stuff.
Like,
This happened, this happened in October. Yeah.
okay. And what was the timeline of Winter of Code this time?
We thought of having Winter of Code from 15th November to 15th January.
Okay.
But again, due to sponsor stuff and website stuff, it just shifted to December 1st. So we had it from December 1st to February 1st.
Okay. So what happened in Winter of Code? Did you have sessions? Like in first year, we had these people come in from different places, like Eddie. Then there was Santosh, who's a GD in Angular. We had like a lot of interesting
That sells
people
the
talking.
Flutter person. I
Oh,
think he
Pavan
was,
Kumar. Yes, yes. He also
no,
came.
Chris Sells, like he was the manager also, manager at Google,
Oh, yes, yes. Chris.
right?
Yes. He
Yes.
he was also there with us. He also talked about Flutter in general and how people are shifting to Flutter nowadays and all of that. So it was pretty exciting. In Winter of Code, in the first year, we had these sessions, but initially it was a big challenge to get sponsors and all of that because that was the first year we didn't have so many LinkedIn followers and so many people on our YouTube channel as we have now. We
Yes.
had a lot of less people
We
knowing
did
about
not even
this.
have an approximation of the foot count, and hence the sponsorship wasn't there.
Yeah. So the sponsors were like pretty less. Like we got like around 7 to 8 sponsors somehow, and we
Hmm.
just did it. But this time it was pretty well managed. I saw that we had a lot of sponsors this time, and you did it really well this time.
I mean, all kudos to team. Like as I said, I brought along my friends who were like leads from other colleges, and I thought of making a community kind of thing so that this thing gets a bit more reach.
Yeah.
So what I planned was, let's have event partners. Event partners would be again the group of people who I'll closely work with, who will probably take some decisions in the organizing part, and then we'll have community partners who will help in the outreach and the promotion of this entire thing. And in turn, we can just lend them a and like last year when we were as community partners for some events, what our responsibility was, it was usually to promote posters and materials and stuff. So this time for community partners, I thought if I was one of them, I wouldn't want to promote other GDSC stuff by
Yeah.
getting nothing in return. So I promised them that okay, if you promote ours, this thing, and if we get applicants from your side, we will make sure to let them through the initial screening that we have, and we abided by her promise. So whatever applicants came in from our community partners, we made sure that we let them through. Even they weren't as good as we expected, but we like let them in through the first screening.
I think we almost let everyone in through the first screening except people who
No,
didn't seem
yes,
sincere enough.
yes, we filtered out spam.
Yeah,
We did
people
figure out
who
that.
wouldn't, complete the thing, like who
Right.
weren't focused to at least like get the project that they had decided on done, so that our mentors also didn't have to, go through like people who weren't that dedicated or into getting the thing done. Yeah,
Yes, agreed.
yeah,
And like after WOC 1.0, like when we were evaluating the like final report submissions, we were sitting together and evaluating that. So I read all of the submissions, that how WOC helped them to maintain consistency, and how they like finished. Some of them finished their first projects in WOC 1.0, and
wow,
that was like really nice to read, because you did something and that actually helped people. So
yeah.
the point that you said, that even if it helps one person, that's worth it.
Yeah, yeah. And I actually saw that initially the my code team was like, of course they had their separate sessions, but we didn't do something together. But in Winter of
Hmm.
Code 1.0, we like saw that especially the web development team under Ritik, they were like working like so hard to get the website done and updating it with every time we got a new sponsorship or a community partner, we were like, just please update
Every
this as
little
soon as
small thing,
possible.
right?
Yeah, and even like Nimish and Pulkit, all of them were there to help out with all those like judgments and deciding who was going forward to the next round,
And
and
like people on the
matching
Discord
mentors.
server,
Yeah, matching mentors, solving doubts on Discord, introducing people and others, like people in the community, and all of that was really helpful at that time. Yeah,
that lifted off a lot of burden, because they
yeah.
handled stuff pretty well.
Yeah, yeah, for me too. Like they almost handled all of that Discord part because it was not possible to be there at so many places at the same time. Yeah.
Yes, agreed.
How many follower subscribers? I mean, how many subscribers does our YouTube channel have right now?
So right now we have close to 300 subscribers.
Okay, and on LinkedIn?
We have 800 followers on LinkedIn right now.
Okay, cool. That's pretty good considering that Triple IT Kalyani for each batch has in CSE has around like 100 people, and
Right.
into four that makes it 400, so 800 people following us is means that a lot of other students are also following us, so that's nice.
Yes, and that's something that has been very consistent. Like even in sessions that we organize, a lot of people who RSVP are from other institutes, and even people who attend. So you can find some people from other institutes as well there.
Yeah, that's really nice. Hmm. Okay, so we'll end this with talking about how GDSC helped us. I'll go first. So, GDSC was basically the first um, place where I found myself at a leadership position. And initially, I had a few challenges, and there were a few places where I was kind of hesitant to be strict or like make sure that people knew that
Hmm.
they had to get something done, or like if they had applied to a position. Like I had this issue in my core team where one of them was not working and was kind of not being sincere. So
Right.
I like, even though I'm really humble and all of that, and I repeatedly told that person to please work, please let us know if you have any issues. We have no issues with if you have any kind of emergency, or if you have some kind of previous commitment that came up, work commitments, we don't have any issues, just inform us beforehand. But when that didn't happen, I went ahead and like I had to let that person go, and I had to take a difficult decision. And that was a bit hard, but then I guess that's when I started learning to you know take a stand and not.
That was for the good of like all of us.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I have to learn, right? It's okay. Like, again, we gave that person another chance to like work with us,
Hmm.
and that's cool. But that's it. Ki sometimes we just need to put our foot down and take a decision when we are in a position of leadership. So that is something that GDSC taught me and helped me with also. Yeah.
And I guess similar things for me as well because, like when I was there as a core team member, I had to get work done from people who were, say, senior to me or people who I had no authority over. And nothing much changed even when I was the lead, because even if like most people were my juniors or batchmates, I had no like definitive authority over them to tell them to do something or to order them to do something for the community. It was more of a like as a leader you get to understand that you are not a dictator. You need to give them a direction, but you also need to give them the freedom to do certain things themselves, and that is how
They'll
you
have to
make more
come.
leaders.
Yeah, they'll have to do
That
it
was,
themselves. Like,
yes, that was something I learned from you because you gave me the freedom to do things on my own, even as a core team member, and I was like, okay, this is cool. This is where I feel respected and honored, and this is where I feel important. So I thought of doing similar stuff, and I gave my core team and extended core team all the freedom to suggest things, to be openly critical about stuff, and to take decisions. I gave them leadership positions, inventor of code, and various other places. And I told them that you need not ask me everything that you're going to do. So just take certain steps on your own, and we'll figure out if something goes wrong.
yeah, yeah,
So a few people did leave along the way, and that was totally their choice. But the fact that I had an amazing team did not let us feel the lack of those people who left, or some people that I had to remove because
yeah.
they weren't working up to like expectations or they weren't as active. We cannot have one inactive person affecting the other people's vibes.
Yeah, it's unfair to people who are actually wanting to be in the core team and contribute something. It's not fair to those people, right?
Exactly. And that is why even today, like if I see somebody really, really interested in the core team, I take them in. So I have taken two people like this without interviews, just by seeing how passionate they are and how they're ready to help GDC even from the outside, not even being members.
Yeah,
And I gave one try to a first year as well, so he's now working with us. So let's see how things go along. So I did
yeah.
not keep the team very rigid because of this.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's that people can, if someone wants to help out, they, like we always, try to make sure that they can, even if it's a community event or just a workshop or like
Mhm.
whatever they want to do, they can always organize events from GDSC. We'll provide them with, the platform and the banners and everything else. Just come up to us and tell us what you want to do. We'll just help you out.
Yes, like say we're ongoing with this Flutter festival right now.
Yeah.
So one of my batchmates, he was like, I'm really interested in stuff. Can I also take a session? I was like, sure, like this is totally yours. So yes, hopefully we have them for the next session preparing.
Yeah.
And
Like
yeah,
basically
so
the DSC club was something that kept things going, like because we initially, when we went from offline to online mode, already in offline mode the number of events were not that much,
mm,
and in online mode they even reduced more. So GDSC just kept things going, like there's an event every month. It's like that, so people have
GDSC
something to
was
look
the
forward
technical
to.
community that our college needed, like desperately
Yeah,
needed.
yeah, yeah. Triple IT Kalyani actually needed this. Yeah, yeah. Okay, then we are done with our session today. Thanks for everyone who decided to listen to us. Thank you. And good day. Yeah.
Yeah, and the applications are open. I will again encourage all of you to go apply because this is an amazing journey and you will not regret a single moment of taking up this leadership position.
Yeah, and you only get to do it in college. So you kind of have your second, third, and mostly second and third years can only apply. So make sure that you apply so that you at least don't regret that you didn't try. Yeah.
Right. And again, like before we wrap up, just Soumi ma'am, thank you for everything, like right from
I'll cut
establishing
this
the
part
SP
off.
to supporting. Us even today.
Yeah, yeah, of course. If people get team members like you, they're gonna do well, right? Okay. Thanks, everyone. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you.